Hi everyone, and welcome back to Viola's Trading Diary. And this week we'll have even less trades than last week because after all this moving and changing the location, I went on a sick leave from trading. Maybe you can hear my voice. It's not great still. I'm still slightly sick, but this time, comparing to the previous times, I decided to not trade. Maybe you remember previous times, every time when I was sick, usually you're sick, you're having more time, and then you can stare on the charts more. And that usually led to overtrading. And this time I decided, no, I'm sick. I am not gonna check the charts. I'm gonna look at them, but I'm not gonna take trades and not overlook them, just check them once or twice per day and just see what is happening, but rather not take trades. And that was a really good decision. So let's see, what have I done? So this time, while being on a sick leave from trading, I decided that instead of staring at the charts more and more each day, I will more pay attention to what the structure looks like and try to understand it more and more. So instead of kind of losing money, I would say, I dedicated this time for learning. So as we can see, I placed only 2 trades on Monday when I was still feeling okay. And on Tuesday, actually, I was also taking a flight, and that was the first day of being very sick till kind of today. So from Tuesday, I didn't take any trades. But on Monday, I took 2 trades, and both of them were on gold. And one was on evaluation account, the loss, and the win was on the funded account. And I'm so happy with the win that I'm not feeling like that trade was a loss. And let's see, what have I done here? So first of all, we're having the loss. And this loss, yeah, the entry was again pretty good, I would say, especially that we had got 3 touch point, actually even the 4 touch point trend line break here. But the execution, I don't know what have I done. I think I might have starting to get sick at that point. So with the strategy, we can see that with trendline break with volume, we had got the 5-minute candle close on the other side of the trend line, and the candle was pretty, but there was no volume. But at the same time, trendline had the point A at least 3 hours away from the entry, and it was, I think, even almost a day. Not a day, but 12 hours. And a pretty clear point B, so pretty clear safety line. So let's look more closely why I took this trade. And we can see that after further there was a big trend down, and we created finally the bottom, and we had got a pretty strong push to the upside. Don't ask about those arrows here. I think this is a duplication of those arrows. I don't know why they appeared there. And then afterwards we had a consolidation. So price after this big move kind of calm down and try to get more energy. And we can see that here we have a kind of support resistance and previous day low. And as you know, I'm very often using the previous day low, previous day high, and see how the price the next day is reacting on that level. And here we had got the cross of the previous day low, and we had got a lot of wicks towards the previous day low line level. However, every time it was rejected, and even when it crossed, it immediately came back. And then afterwards, that previous day low level was tested again with multiple candles, and we went back again up. And here I wasn't sure if I should take this trade because we're having 2 very amazing trend lines next to each other. the shorter one, the 12-hour wait one, have got point A, B, C, D, E. So it has got like 5 touch points. And then it finally crossed. And because we have got this rejection, we have got the higher low, and we crossed the trend line with pretty strong candle. It's a full body, no wicks. I decided to try to enter to this trade and go long. However, as you can see, we have got another trend line next to it. And that one was also strong because we had got 1 and 2 touch points, and then we created the third touch point and we rejected that level, the trend line, and started to go down. And that was kind of an indication that maybe we are not going that direction. Also, after the trade, I realized that we are having this support resistance level here. So something that actually I draw based just on those wicks here. I didn't kind of realize that wick here. Afterwards I realized, especially when that one was created. But I draw something like that maybe I should take a trade when we will get out of that level, test it from the other side, and then go up. And then it's a valid trade because it's telling me even more that we are changing the direction. Because we can see here that that trend is pretty much a downward trend. And we don't have such a clear indication that we're changing it. We tested here the change of the structure. However, we didn't manage. We made a pullback and we tried again and we failed. And that's why I should not probably take this trade. However, more kind of because it was 5-point touch point trend line break, maybe I was thinking that it's this magical trend line and I should take this trade. However, as you can see, sometimes just crossing a trend line is a bit misleading and you need to look at the structure and if you're going with the trend. And yeah, that wasn't a great trade. However, later on, I saw that trend line and I took that next trade on the funded account. And as I was telling you, there were 2 trend lines. The trade which I was taking was here and it created another point. So this higher time frame trend line had gotten a 1, 2, and 3 touch point trend line and it broke. And this time, let's see with the strategy wise, we had got the 5-minute candle close on the other side of the trend line. The candle was pretty and a bigger volume was happening than the previous candle. However, as you can see, I didn't take the trade on the candle. I waited a bit. And here this time I was more convinced that we are changing the direction because though this is the previous day low and this is the moment when we tried that trend line for the first time. Here I took the trade, the first one on the valuation. Then we again crossed the previous day low, but we didn't have enough power to go lower than the previous low. So that created the lower high and we started to go up. And we can see that the cross of the trend line which I'm talking about is this candle here. And we can see that the volume was also bigger and the candle is pretty big comparing to all the other ones. However, I was still not too convinced. So I waited until the price will a bit create another pullback and then cross the previous top of that candle, the wick. And then I entered the trade and I allowed for another pullback. I think, yeah, my stop loss was below that small pullback here. So it went kind of close to my stop loss. But as I'm saying, I was trying to hold it and let it go. And then those 2 big candles appeared. and I closed because we're having here the full level of 4,700. So after such a big candle, I decided to just take my profits, especially that those ones are big profits on my funded account. It's $180, and as you know, I'm trying to rescue it. So if the price would go slower up, then probably I would try to hold it to my take profit, which was the close of the previous week. However, because that candle was so volatile and so fast and so big, I decided that I'm taking the profits and I'm very happy with them, and close the trade. And we can see that even that I was aiming just for the previous week close, the price got to previous day high, almost touched it, and then it reversed. So I'm always so amazed with those levels of previous day high and previous day low. And this trade really made my day, and I was so happy with it. But as you know, I didn't place any more trades till the end of the week. I was looking at the charts and I found really nice 2 trades on Thursday, which I would love to show you. So the first one was here. As we can see, the price of silver was going up for almost 2 weeks, and then it finally started to reject the tops and starting to tilt to the other side. And we can see that that level here was rejected on 11th of May, so on Monday. On Wednesday later the day, we managed to make another top and get to those $90 on silver. However, we immediately rejected it and got back to this consolidation here. And if we look closer on the 5-minute, then we can see that, yeah, we started to create those lower highs. We created here the lower low, lower high, lower low, and then here we were starting to tilt to create another lower low, which was actually here. And also within that consolidation, that was a pretty nasty consolidation. However, comparing to gold one, on gold we couldn't see any structure. However, here we can see that first the price was starting to go up. Here it didn't manage to create a higher high than that high, and we started to create the lower highs and lower high and lower high and another lower high. And I was looking at it, and honestly I was tempted to take this trade. However, literally I was lying on the bed, half asleep, so I just, like, the alarms were ringing, like, take a trade, but it's like, no, I'm too sick, but also the risk was too big. And the trend line, I'm so amazed by this trend line because it is, if we look, so beautiful. It starts on the 5th of May. We're having another touch points here, even around 8th of May. And when we started to reverse, we even touched this trend line to the T here and reverse. So we have another bounce here. However, because we started to create those lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, I was not even tempted to take a bounce and was waiting for the price to cross this trend line. However, you can see that the price action wasn't so smooth. We have a lot of short and long candles, so it wasn't so smooth. So my first potential entry would be here. If I would go with very steep trend line, still my risk would be, this is around $600 and my max is $400, so no thank you. Or I could wait for a pullback and wait until the next trend line would be crossed, but even this cross wasn't so perfect. So that was a pretty hard trade. That was the best entry. And even with the strategy, that candle still closed on the right kind of side of the trend line, the one that we're not changing the direction, and then it opened on the other side, but it was pretty big. It still had got kind of wick that I wasn't sure if it's a pretty candle, but the volume was also, if we will see here, bigger for the candle. So that was very tempting to take this trade. However, I will not risk more than I can. So unfortunately, I couldn't take this trade. And the other trade that I was seeing was, if we'll look at that one, so it's slightly further here, but also I didn't want to take that one because if we'll look, we're having again lower high, lower high, lower high, so structurally we're going down. However, we had such a big move here that I wasn't sure if we will make another move to the downside after such a big move. We're having here a very strong support resistance level just because of those wicks, like they were created. If we look further, we still had actually kind of room till that level here. However, we can see that here there are a lot of wicks, a lot of different support resistance levels, so that is always tricky where and which support and resistance level is the most important. So here I'm not sure if I would take it, but even though I didn't look at it because it was already at 8 p.m. My time, so it was too late for me to even look at the charts. Usually at that time, silver and gold are just calming down. There are no moves like that. So that's very interesting, and that would be within my risk because that would be below 400, just below $400 risk. However, yeah, I missed on this, but this is really beautiful looking at the structure, how we went down, made a pullback, and then create those lower highs, and then we cross the trend line. So that was very pretty. And this is all for today, and I hope you managed to profit on some of those great moves, especially on the gold and silver, and wish you great trades next week. See you next time. Bye!